there in the only you are there.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, I'd like to invite the speaker, Mr. S Ramakrishnan, who will talk about orchids as emerging agribusiness trends, markets, and growth potential. I now request the speaker to begin. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction. So my name is Ramakrishnan. I am basically a horticulture graduate and my profession is exports and imports. Also, we are doing cultivation of orchids in Kerala, about 1 acre, and another 6 acres farm in Tamil Nadu in Kanyakumari district. Actually, I want to study the agriculture, what are the problems the farmers are facing. So I was just searching for an ideal crop so that I can explore the various problems associated with agriculture. But I have after that I have chosen orchid, but it made me a lot of passion towards that floriculture plant, and it is a wonderful crop for a business. So I started my first business in 2006. I started importing plants from Thailand, and slowly we expanded, and now almost 6-7 acres we are growing orchids. Basically, we are growing pot plants, orchids of Dendrobium, Vanda, Catilia, Mocara, Phalaenopsis, Cymbidium, like that. And today I will just guide you what are the different aspects of orchid business and how we can utilize it and explore it. And orchid, it was not so much awareness was there when we started the business in 2006. But after that, it was slowly picking up, and nowadays the business has gone to you can say it is in the upper side of the curve, and almost the entire Kerala and Maharashtra, Karnataka, Calcutta, Orissa, all these belt, the people started growing orchids. And mostly it is done as a hobby business. And apart from that, commercial farming for cut flower is also, there is a good scope for orchids, and there is a huge profit margin is there for the orchid business. And earlier, this business was mostly done in, actually, this crop is mainly done in Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and Taiwan. So I visited those places and found that there is a lot of avenues for doing business in orchids. Because normally I copy all that strategies from these countries, and I try to implement in India. So after seeing those countries, I found it is an emerging business. And especially if the economy is growing, then it is a wonderful crop. Like like the people's purchasing power is increasing. Like we are having malls, supermarkets, and pizza, burgers, and all those things. It indicates that people are having lot of money on hand. So basically, when they have more money, they try to. The next aspect is they go for planting plants, flowers, for the emotional release and everything. And here we have different types of business. We have the nursery pot plant business. That is what I am doing. And cut flower is there, and we are giving consultancy for growing orchid cut flowers, and how to construct the greenhouse, and what varieties you have to choose, and how to market it. All those things we are giving the technical details for growing cut flowers. Then once the flowers is grow, once we have the flowers, then it has to go to the florist and floral decoration. Then naturally we need the planting material, because orchid being an we cannot we cannot take the cuttings like roses and other things. It has to be supposed to be multiplied using the tissue culture. So tissue culture is also another major area of orchid cultivation. Then there are so many areas of value addition, and breeding is one of the main aspects, because orchid highly remunerative. You can do intergeneric and interspecific hybrids. And breeding is very easy in orchids. If you compare with the tomato and other vegetables, it is very difficult to do the breeding. Whereas orchid, it is very easy. So that is also, there is a good scope for business in breeding as well. So how you can do the business is like buy plants from the wholesale nurseries, and or you can, I would suggest initially do some trading by buying the plants from the wholesale nurseries. Then you can once you have a good market, then you can plan for importing also. But import has a lot of rules and regulations like plant quarantine and so many other things are there. And also you have to be very good in foreign trade and all. And if you are starting a nursery, then the place should be, ideally it should be near to the residential area or commercial area. Even people who are doing online business, they are very deep in interior and they are doing a good business. But if you are concentrating on a retail business, then that area should be a residential or commercial area. And online business these days are really hot, and through social media, um, it's really doing wonderful business in orchids. Investment wise, if you want to start a smaller way, maybe 1 or 2 cents, maybe even your rooftop also is okay, but it should have a lot of full of sunlight. There should not be any trees near to the building. So that is the place you have to choose it. Then you must have a polyhouse with the like UV sheet, and even we can grow under the shade net cultivation also. But I would suggest to go for polyhouse cultivation. Because this will protect the plants from the rainfall, so that the disease will be avoided, and so many other complications also be avoided when we grow the plants under the polyhouse condition. Though the cost of initial investment may be a little bit higher, but it will give you a very good feel, you will be there will not be much trouble with the plants when we grow under the polyhouse system. And also we should have a benches system to grow the plants. And for 1 or 2 cents, the investment will be less than a lakh, and you can the profit will be minimum. You can get almost 100 rupees a plant, and even if you sell 250 plants a month, you can easily earn about 25,000 rupees a month profit from a small area. So this is our Rynco orchids Nedamangad at Trivandrum farm. There, these are the phalaenopsis we are growing there, and these are the different orchids we have imported from different locations. This one, phalaenopsis, we are growing under the fan and pad system. And phalaenopsis need little more care than compared with the dendrobiums. So this is also a pot plant business only. These are the vandaceous orchids, very beautiful flowers. Phalaenopsis. This is the Tamil Nadu farm in Kanyakumari district, that is in Takkalai. Here we have about 7 acres of farm near to a Western Ghats, and it's here we are not growing under the polyhouse condition. Here we are growing under the shade net cultivation. But I would suggest to go for polyhouse cultivation. Suppose if the rainfall is high and rain pattern is irregular, then polyhouse is the ideal growing method. So here we import the small seedlings from Thailand, and we grow them and make flowers, and we sell it to the wholesale nurseries. These are the vandaceous orchids. So these are the phalaenopsis grown in Taiwan, and we are importing these plants from Taiwan. It's a very beautiful orchids, and it not only a pot plants, also this can be used for the floral decorations. So there is a huge potential in India, and especially now airports and everywhere they started displaying with the orchids. So I feel there is a good scope for phalaenopsis orchids in there. But this business is a little bit more high investment business. Like we have to construct a polyhouse with fan and pad system and all. And the spiking also, it needs little bit cooler condition, like almost 25-degree temperature in the daytime for almost 30 days, and night temperature about 18 to 20 degrees centigrade for initiating the flower bud. So if you want to go for phalaenopsis, then it is like Kerala condition. We have a two monsoon. So that time not normally the temperature comes down. So those period the plant spikes naturally, and also during the winter also it spikes naturally. Otherwise, the ideal condition is to grow in a little bit high elevation, like the mountain, and or maybe about 1,000-meter elevation. It does very well. And the best thing is the flower lasts for almost 3 to 6 months. It's a very long life. So when we grow these plants for almost 3-4 years, you get a long flower spike like this. And each plant you can sell it for 2,000, 3,000, up to 5,000 rupees. Actually, at the moment in India, this type of flowers are not available. This is also another papilopedilum for very good pot plants. This cut flower, in cut flower, there is another area called arandas and aranthiras. And actually, I have given earlier also, I have given one presentation through agricultureinformation.com. So in that, I have a detailed discussion about how to grow this, how to do this business. Here we have to when we are going for cut flower business, we have to be we have to be we have to give a lot of concentration on different aspects like the planting material, and the planting material should be like it should be a regular bloomer, and it should be it should be good for a high rain. If it is a high rainfall area, we have to choose planting material according to that, to do that. Then we have to be master in cultivation techniques. And when we are going for cut flowers, the florist will need bulk quantity. Suppose if you are growing 1 acre, then that quantity may not be enough. So if you are going for contract farming with the 3-4 farmers together, if you start the project, it will be really successful, because especially at cut flower business, people together will be very successful model. And we have to identify the flower market network. Right now, the flowers are moving to Bombay, Delhi, Chennai, Kolkata, Hyderabad, and all. And for this minimum, we need at least 1 acre of land. And Mokkara and Aranda and Aranthra are ideal for Kerala condition. And for the entire east and west coast side near to the seashore. But it is a little bit of a high investment business. Like almost for 1 acre, we need about 75 lakhs investment, and the third to fourth year we get the profit, and fourth year we not only we get the profit, but the asset of the planting material will be very high, because these 3-4 years the plants are growing, no? So the plant cost, the asset of the plant goes very high, and which is equivalent to almost a crore rupees when it reaches to the fourth year. And after that, for expansion, we can cut these plants, and we can expand the area using our own planting material. We have to just take the top cuts, and from there, the sides, the side there will be kikis or small branches will come. So those will give flowers. Those top cuts we can use it for expansion, area expansion. So these are all the nice colors of the Mokkara orchids. Any colors you imagine, you get it. And especially in India, we have a good demand for red colors. Orange with the spots. These flowers have a very good demand with the spiking nature, long spikes, because it looks very nice in the decoration, especially table arrangements, bouquet arrangements, and all. These orchids, you don't need to grow in the benches. This can be grown in the soil. It is a terrestrial orchid, and here we are using the sawdust as we have to make a raised bed. On the raised bed, you have to put the sawdust. Then on top of that, we have to plant this planting material. And we are giving technical consultancy for how to grow these orchids, and we are supplying the planting material also for this project. It's a wonderful project for India, because as of now, the flowers are not available in the market, but there are some imported flowers are also coming from Thailand and all. But we have to compare the prices with the imported plant flowers, and especially the florists, they prefer to buy the local produce, because the flowers are more fresher than the imported orchids. So definitely there is a good demand for these orchids. Also, the dendrobium cut flowers is also a major area where now there are so many farms in Tamil Nadu growing about 10-20 acres. So this is also one of the major cut flower business. And then floral decoration, especially the Phalaenopsis orchid, which you have seen, the Taiwan one, no? The Phalaenopsis, the price it's a very good gift item and fetches a very good price. And only thing, we should have a good stock of this plant and greenhouse, and we need a air conditioned system. and the flower lasts for 3 to 6 months, and ideal to grow over 1,000 meter elevation like Wayanad in Idukki district, or anywhere that above the height is 1,000 meter above mean sea level. This Phalaenopsis is good, and it is a very good business for Indian market, because as of now this area is not touched by us. So these are the floral decorations of the Phalaenopsis. 3-4 plants together and kept for sales. It's all sold at a very high price. And another one is we can add colors to the plants. Like you see the same. This is the same plant only from you can see the white color Phalaenopsis in the background. No, the same plant is colored like this with straining, or with the technology is available, and now these flowers are sold at a very high price in the international market, and we can put a design like our country logo and implement all companies implement all, we can imprint it. These are all the different countries flag designs. This is also another major area to be concentrated. Then there are so many other areas, like for value addition, we can do landscaping, and the landscaping is for landscaping. It is wonderful plant. Because the flower will remain there in the landscape for 2 to 6 months. So the people, once they introduce the orchids into their landscaping, they prefer to love to be with the orchids, and like mostly the other plants like hibiscus and ixoras, they last for only few days or maybe a week. Whereas the orchids, it lasts for a long time. So it is one of because in my house also, I put a lot of orchids in the landscape. It's really fantastic to see. And there are we can explore so many ways to do this business, and it generates a lot of profit also. So only thing you need little bit of artistic skill, and some wood and coconut husk is well enough to do the landscaping. So these photos just taken immediately after the planting. And then come to the breeding side, and it is easy to breed, and we can do the pollination early morning or late evening. It's not a problem. And in orchids, there is a genera and species. Here we can do intergeneric and interspecific hybrids. So it is very easy to do the breeding, and we need a small lab to germinate this tissue culture, and it won't cost not more than ₹1,00,000 to invest in a tissue culture lab. And once the seeds are set, and we can get suppose if we get very nice colors out of breeding, we can sell it at a very high price also. So these are all the tissue culturally produced Phalaenopsis plants. You can go for a small training, and there are so many institutes, they are giving a training for 1 month. So with the 1 month training, you can learn tissue culture techniques, and you don't have to go for mericlone culture. Just learn seed culture and do the business. So these orchids, it is not like the other plants. So this is totally different from the roses or carnation, because its nature is different. It is an epiphyte. It normally grows. It grows on the tree, and it doesn't suck the food from the tree, but it just be there in the tree and take the nutrient from the atmosphere, and some birds droppings and all it takes. So that is the condition it prefers when we are growing in the pot. So we are putting the charcoal and some bricks to support the plant. That's it. So that is what it is done in the trees also. So we are not supposed to treat like the roses and carnation, watering and everything. We have to be very careful. We have to maintain a wet and dry cycle. And if you are going for commercial growing, then better not to mix with other plants. And again, I would suggest to grow for only one genera, like Dendrobium or Phalaenopsis or Mocara. Any one genera, you try it and master it. Then after that, you can try for other genera. Otherwise, you will get confused, because each and every genera, the requirement is different. It is not the same. The cultivation technique is not same for Dendrobium and Phalaenopsis and Mocara. So sunlight requirement, shade requirement, watering requirement, everything changes from one genera to another genera. So that is why, if you grow 3-4 generas, you will get confused. So better go for one genera, learn it, master it. Then once you are confident enough, then you can try for the other generas. And in business, the successful tips, business for a businessman, you need a intuitive ability. Intuition is very, very, very important, because you should know that whether this business will go right or not. Um, so all those things will come up in our mind. So for that, normally I follow about every day about 30 minutes breathing techniques, some meditation, and maybe sit for 10-15 minutes. Ideally, some sit in a lonely place, so that your mind will be refreshed, and you get a lot of new ideas also. And it will increase your intelligence and intuitive ability, because with the intuition only the businessman can be successful, because we have to predict what is going to happen in future. So we will get some idea when the mind is clear. And again, we have to attend a lot of workshop and seminars like this will help us a lot. And read books like motivation is all will helpful a lot. And and again, if you can learn the power of subconscious mind and other things, good habits will be really helpful. And for me to be successful in business, the book I read was the Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. The book helped me a lot lot in doing the business, how to plan, how to think, how to make money. Everything was written in that book. That's a wonderful book for a businessman. If you are a new business person, then I would suggest to read this book. And apart from that, technology and everything is another thing, another area. So this is the soft skill. That another other area is the technical skill. So those two things we have to balance it. Then only we can be successful in business. Thank you. And if you have any doubt, you can contact this number. And the website also, all our videos are there under the media. There will be a heading called media. You go through that, all our previous presentations, videos of and different aspects of orchid cultivation, everything is there. And this is my WhatsApp number. So if you have any doubt, you can call me, or you can drop a message. I will reply you immediately. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Ramakrishnan, for the detailed presentation. Now I will quickly take up some questions.
Yes.
Okay. So the first question is, what are the current market trends for orchid cultivation in India and internationally? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
your voice is breaking. I think I couldn't hear the
1
full
minute.
voice.
I'll post in the chat box.
No, it is okay. You can tell me again. No problem.
Yeah. So what are the current market trends for orchid cultivation in India and internationally?
Okay. So international market, if you see Taiwan and Thailand are the potential growers in worldwide, and also the Netherlands, the Holland market. So all these three markets are flourishing, because they all started the business almost 20-30 years before. Whereas in India, we just we are very infant stage. We can say maybe we are just a toddler, maybe our LKG or UKG only. We are very, very beginning stage of orchid business. So we have to go for us. There are so many steps into this business. So I would say it is a huge potential for Indian market for deal with orchids, because people normally buy, they want to go for something new, like it's a fashion. We never stick with one fashion and one design. We try to go for something new. So like we have earlier, we have roses, carnation, gladioli, lilium, so many other flowers were there, but still people want to see something new. So orchid is something new. And again, the advantage here is like the breeding is so easy, and because of that, so many colors are coming up, so many different designs are coming out in the market. That is the biggest advantage of dealing with orchids.
Okay. And which orchid varieties are in highest demand for domestic and export markets?
Currently, Dendrobium phalaenopsis, Vanda, Mocara, Oncidia. So these groups have a good demand in domestic market. Also, export also we can concentrate, but I don't think this is the time for starting the export business, because we are already importers. So maybe after 10-15 years, we may be in a position to export it, because we have to develop the tissue culture technology, that planting cost comes down. So those things are there. So maybe after 10-15 years, we may be into the export market. But for us, the export market also a good potential, because now Taiwan and the other Southeast Asian countries are far away from Middle East and the European destination, and even to the US. Whereas we are close to these destinations, and our freight cost and everything is cheaper compared to them. So there is a good potential in future, not immediately, but we have the potential in the domestic market. So we don't have to think about the international or export market right now.
Okay. And how do you see the future growth of orchid farming as a profitable agribusiness in the next 5 to 10 years?
I would just suggest another 20 to 30 years, it is going to be a booming business for orchids. Especially the pot plant business, absolutely no doubt, it is another 20 to 30 years, it is going to flourish. But cut flower business, we have to see the policy, because now the globe is one small home, like the trade barriers are going away, and the policies are changing, the duty structures are changing. So we have to see the government policy. As of now, the import duty for the flowers is 40%, but there are some countries we have a free trade agreement, like Thailand, Sri Lanka, Southeast Asian countries. When we import flowers from these destinations, the duty is zero. So only the cost, the air freight cost will add up on the product cost. So we have to see whether we can compete with these flowers. But again, the thing is, like, these countries, they are dumping the second quality flowers only, not the first quality. So because they have a demand for the first quality flowers in the other countries. So all these things has to be studied. So the best way is check with the florist, how is the market price, how is the demand, what kind of flowers they need, what colors they are getting from other countries. So initially we have to do a market survey, study the market, study the price, study how much investment you need. Once you've done all those research, then only you have to enter into the cut flower business. But pot plant business, absolutely no issue. Pot plant business, then florist business, like floral decorations, even plants with the plants with the flower for florist decoration has huge potential, because if you are importing these plants with the flowers, it will cost very high. Like suppose if our plant cost is 200 rupees, and if you are importing plants with flower from another country, even if it is duty free, it will cost us 1,000 rupees. So that area, no one can compete. So the pot plant business and florist business, no one can compete, or other countries cannot dump into our country. But cut flowers, we have to be a little bit careful and study, and then only have to go.
Okay. And are there any niche opportunities in orchid-based products apart from cut flowers?
I have seen that people are making dollars, dry flowers, and even the dried orchid flowers, they put inside the glass kind of, like we put the glass on the table, no, the weight. Inside that also they are putting those dried flowers. They are making dollars, even bangles, ear stud. So those things are all done in the other countries, because once the market, once the people are so aware about orchids, and they prefer to buy this kind of stuff. But I don't advise immediately to start those areas, because now people just started buying the orchids. Maybe at a later stage, this product may fetches the demand, not immediately.
Okay. And which orchid varieties are best suited for small and medium farmers in India?
Small?
Which orchid varieties are best suited for small and medium farmers in India?
I would suggest dendrobium, because that is the investment wise, it is low, and the growing method is also very easy. So that is the best to start with. Maybe later you can diversify it into mocaras and arandas, even oncidiums. We can diversify it into those areas, and after that you can go for phalaenopsis. because phalaenopsis need little more care and some techniques to initiate the flower buds. But whatever said earlier, all easy to grow. Good for small and medium growers.
Okay. And what are the key climate and infrastructure requirements for commercial orchid cultivation?
Basically, orchid loves high humidity, like over 60% humidity is highly essential. Like Kerala, Kerala, we have the humidity always 60 to 900% humidity is there. And the same humidity you will get all the coastal areas, east coast and west coast also. This high humidity climate is there. But even if we don't have this climate also, we can artificially increase it. Like when we put this misting and sprinklers, then naturally the microclimate in that area will increase. It will go up above 60% to 80%. So artificially also we can do it. But these are all the natural habitat and natural area to grow orchids. Then apart from that, when you see the climatic wise, um, too hot, like up to 35, 36, even go up to 40, even for some period, some 1 month is okay, but not more than 40, 45-degree temperature. But people are growing, but for commercial, I won't advise. I think up to 35 to 40, the maximum, and minimum will be about 15 to 22 is the lower side temperature. And it is good to have a good water quality, and again here, with respect to water quality, dendrobium and all, they can survive a little bit even hard water also, but orchids like Vandaceous and other things, they need little soft water. And so you have to, before starting the project, you have to test your water report and see your climatic conditions. And all those things we can guide if somebody wants to go for a professional business wise, we can help them to select the land and what kind of orchids they can grow, and the marketing network, market intelligence, all those areas we can guide them. Hello, I think your voice is breaking.
Yeah, actually in polyhouses or low cost
You asked some questions. I didn't hear anything. Maybe you can put it in the chat.
greenhouse.
Yeah, you can tell me now. I can hear, I think. Can orchids be grown profitably in polyhouses or low-cost greenhouse in tropical regions? Yes, I would suggest to grow orchids in polyhouse condition only. A low-cost greenhouse in tropical region is also okay. We need only a polyhouse. That's it. What type of polyhouse is not an important aspect. When we construct the polyhouse, we have to make sure that it gets a lot of air circulation. So the polyhouse should have a vent on top, and also the sides should be open, and you better put a insect-proof screen in the sides, and inside you put the air circulation fan. That is very, very important, because when the temperature goes up, the heat buildup will be high. So the air circulation is very important inside the polyhouse. So yeah, definitely. I would suggest to go, even if it is smaller scale investment, also go for polyhouse. With the low cost is also okay. But I am growing in shade net farming for dendrobium. almost 5-6 years, but it has a lot of challenges. Like during the rainy season, we get a lot of challenges, and whenever the climate changes, we get a lot of issues. But being a professional and being in the field for almost 10-15 years, we are managing with the shade net cultivation. In fact, I'm saying that we are not at all using any pesticides and fungicide in the farm. It's almost like organic way we are doing, but it is not easy because we understood the microclimate, we understood the crop nature, we understood how the disease will attack, when will attack. So though so many things, it's all it's all the local microclimate we understood, and accordingly we are acting. So because of that, it's manageable. So but when you are growing in a different area, different region, you may not be able to understand all these aspects. It takes long time to understand what is the local microclimate. So it's the best way I would suggest, go for polyhouse cultivation, so that all the problems like disease, rain problems with the rain, because of over rain, the roots gets rot. All those things will be avoided.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what new technologies or methods like tissue culture or hydroponics are helping increase productivity and quality?
Now, as of now, the tissue culture is done in other countries, not in India. Now, small units are coming up, but very small way only it is coming up. So we are depending on countries like Thailand and Taiwan for getting the planting materials, and they are doing extremely good job in those countries. They have a modern technology, and every genus wise, every species wise, they have the tissue culture techniques, and a lot of new breeding is going on. So those things we don't have to. It's not our area. It is being an importer. It's all taken care by the foreign countries. It is like, if you want to venture into that area, that's a big area. Like it is, you can say, maybe suppose if we are trying for one or two types of orchids, then we can do it. But for pot plant business, I don't advise to go for tissue culture immediately, but it is okay. Still, we can try it. But as of now, we are depending on the other countries.
Okay. And what is the approximate investment required per acre for starting an orchid farm?
You need minimum about 50 to 75 lakhs as a one acre investment, and you will get the return maybe about 3 or 4 years on third to fourth year onwards. And otherwise, if you are going for a small scale, also it is okay, because our customers are all mostly, they grow in 1 cent or 2 cents of area with the polyhouse and all. So that way, that is a home scale they are doing, and the big farms also coming up, like 1 acre farm also coming up, and you get a lot of subsidy also from the government, from National Horticulture Board, State Horticulture Mission, for the structures, for the plants and everything.
Okay. And how long does it take to break even in commercial orchid farming?
I think 3 to 4 years you get the break even.
Okay. And which cost factors should farmers pay the most attention to for profitability?
Which, can you repeat?
What are the cost factors farmers should pay attention for profitability?
Cost factors.
Yes, cost factors.
Okay. So the main investment is on the structure, the polyhouse and the benches system. So if you have a low cost greenhouse model, then we can go for that. Definitely we can go for that. But I never come across the low cost greenhouse models. Here now we are paying almost 1,300 to 1,500 rupees per square meter for the polyhouse. Then we have to make the benches. That is also a cost investment area. There may be, if we can reduce using the local materials and all, there you can do it. Then for reducing the cost, go for the seedlings, like if it is dendrobium, you can buy small seedlings, like it cost us between 60 to 80 rupees. Then grow them and make it flower and like that. But not, I won't suggest to go for tissue culture immediately. So once you are in master in seedlings to blooming, then you can go for tissue culture. Because once you go for tissue culture and all, the cost will come down, but it is little bit risky. So better not to go venture into that area. But then for cost reduction, then the fertilizer and other inputs will come. So I would suggest not to go for low quality fertilizer or inputs. We always suggest for a high quality fertilizer. So not to touch that area. So these are all the areas farmers can concentrate. And with respect to the land investment will be the higher side. So if you have a own land, then it is okay. Otherwise, I won't suggest to go for purchasing a land and do the business. Instead, you can go for a lease land, because that concept is picking up in India very fast. Even now, we are also not going buying any land. We are going for lease agreement for 5 years, 10 years with the local farmers, and they are also ready to give land to us, so that they get every year some money. So only thing, you have to make a pakka lease agreement with the farmers. That way it is really good. Yes.
Okay. And how can small farmers connect with large buyers, florists, or export markets?
What I would suggest is like, suppose if you are going for pot plants, you better connect with the locally. There will be already some flower traders or dealers will be there. So connect with them initially, send the flowers or sell the flowers through them. They may be charging some 10% or 15% as a commission. Still, it is okay. You can go through them and start the business. Once you have a bulk quantity, then you can start exploring the market of the metro cities. So that way you can start with. And nowadays getting a contact is so easy, not like those days. Like you just search in the Google and you get all the florist address all over India, all over the world. So for the export market also, there are so many websites are available. Even datas are available for the importing countries, like what price the other countries are importing, what quantity they are importing, who is the buyer, who is the seller. All those things are now no more secrets. It's all open secret now. So easily you can get all the informations. Even now, auction centers are there in India for selling the flowers, and like in Bangalore, Hebbal is having a flower auction center. And so many areas also the auction centers are coming up. So that is a good way to sell our products in the market. For
Okay.
pot plant business, definitely you have to see the local market, how whether you are sitting in the city or residential area, and whether people's purchasing power, monetary power, and people's passion for flowers and plants. So all these aspects you have to consider.
Okay. And what certifications or quality standards are needed for exporting orchids?
Actually, orchid plant actually for export we need only phytosanitary certificate. And apart from that, there will maybe a wild certificate, like that is CITES certificate also needed. But getting phytosanitary certificate is very easy. Like if you go through the shipping agent, they will get it for you. But orchid comes under the restricted category. You cannot export the orchid plants easily, because it comes under the endangered species in India. So if you want to export orchids, you have to get the clearance from the forest department. So as I said earlier, no, so don't think about export market for another 10-15 years, because we are being an importing country. So the export question is not at all coming. But this is the procedure.
Okay. And are there government schemes or subsidies available for orchid cultivation and export promotion?
Yeah, you can get from National Horticulture Board. They have schemes are there, and if it is smaller project, you can go through the state horticulture mission or through the horticulture. They normally do this through the horticulture department, agriculture and horticulture department. And other than that, agricultural infrastructure fund is also available. So they give a 3% subsidy for the bank interest. Like suppose if the bank interest is 9%, they give a 3% subsidy for all the bank loans. So these are all the schemes available.
Okay. Last three questions. What are the common diseases or pests in orchids and how to manage them effectively?
Major pest problem we are facing is the thrips and blossom midges. Thrips can be controlled using a mechanical method. The normal, whatever the methods available for the thrips can be adopted, like pesticides and everything that can be controlled. That is manageable. But when you come to the midges, the blossom midges, it normally attack not all the orchids. Specifically, they attack the dendrobiums, dendrobiums, and sometimes they attack the phalaenopsis also. The flowers which are very soft, they attack. That's a major problem we are facing in the orchid industry, and you have to be very careful with this particular blossom midges. It's called Contenaria maculapennis, or blossom midges of dendrobium. It is called. You can Google it and you can find the details. Suppose if you are going for cut flowers, you make sure that you don't bring the infected plants into your polyhouse, and you try to screen it, not to allow any other outside plants into the cut flower area. So that way you can block it, and you can put as insect screening to your entire greenhouse. That way you can block it. And so these are, and the pest. Then apart from that, the pesticide application. But this particular pest, it need lot of pesticide application. And when it comes to the disease, we are facing problem with the Cercospora dendrobium. Cercospora dendrobi is the one of the major pests we are facing, and that we can control using the shade regulation. Like this will normally infect when the sunlight is low sunlight with high humidity, and high temperature. This infect the plants a lot. So through shade regulation and also chemical method, we can control this disease. It's not a major problem. It's controllable. And apart from that, bacterial diseases are there. That is through cultural practices we can control it, like controlling the water, because normally the bacteria will infect the orchids through when the water content, when the humidity is high, water content is more, then it spreads very fast. So those times we can reduce the water and control the spread of the bacterial diseases.
Okay. How can farmers handle the challenges of price fluctuations in the flower market?
Price fluctuation. So it is a challenging area, but as my knowledge, the fluctuation is not very high in orchids, not like other orchids, because the production is very low in India. So there is not much fluctuation in the price as of now. But there are some seasonal variation is there, like during the marriages and all, the demand will be high and the price also high. So that seasonal variation is there, but the price variation is not much in orchids. But when it comes to the imported flowers, you have to be very careful. You have to study the imported flowers arrival and how, because the government is also doing a lot of efforts to protect our Indian farmers. Like earlier, the orchid flowers can be imported through any port in India. Now they restricted to only to Chennai port. Otherwise, these flowers mostly imported through Delhi and Mumbai. It flood the market now because of these restrictions. There is some control over that, but still, the traders, they try to bring whenever they have the orders. Suppose if the local flowers are available, then they don't bring. But since the flowers, if there is a import, means that shows that there is a shortage in the local market. So that is why the traders are importing. But once you have a production, then automatically the import stops. But again, you have to see the competition, whether the imported flowers are costing less or the local flowers are costing less. Then again, the quality, which one has a good quality. So when you price, then again, sometimes the quality will play a major role than the price. Sometimes if it is marriages and other things, the quality will not be a major factor. Only the price will be factor, because it is just a use and throw for the marriages. Just use it for only 24 hours. So different factors are playing in that area.
Okay. So now last question. What are the major mistakes new orchid growers should avoid to succeed?
Can you repeat again?
What are the major mistakes new orchid growers should avoid to succeed?
So they should understand the technology of how to grow orchids. That is very, very, very important. Growing technology, pest and disease management, cultivation techniques, their local environmental condition, their their wind speed, the elevation from the sea level, are they close to the seaside? So all the horticultural techniques, growing techniques, they should not make any mistakes. So for that, they must have some experts in expert. They must have an expert. Without expert, we are not supposed to venture into this project. Expert should have some minimum experience in the expert means experienced. So expert is very much essential in this project, because I faced a lot of problem because we don't have much people to guide us, being a new crop to our country. So, and I try to go and learn these techniques from other countries also, but other countries also, they didn't allow me to stay in their farm and learn the techniques. So that is the area we have to be very careful. Then marketing is the main thing. So first I would suggest study the market. Once the market is good and everything, then I would suggest, if you can do some trading, do trading business, then go for cultivation. Cultivation should be the third aspect, not the first one. Normally the farmers, they go for cultivation, they make all the mistakes, then they will try for marketing, and they end up in loss. So that is not the way to do the business. Business is supposed to come in the reverse way. But if if it is a big company, if they have a huge money flow, then they can go for cultivation, then they study the market and they can do it. But for a smaller growers and small medium farmers, they should start with the marketing, then go for cultivation.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Ramakrishnan. So I don't see any more questions. So now we have come to end of question round. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we'd like to thank you for a very detailed presentation and answering all the questions in depth. We'll be ending this meeting now. Thank you.
Thank you.